Hello, Doodle Bugs. It's Mary. It's Friday, and it's the Friday Doodle Diary. Let us begin with a reading from my journal. The cool thing about never having a perfect body is that as it ages, you're like, yep. Think about that. I hope you've had a wonderful week, dear Doodle Bugs. I've been having a great time. We have a friend in town who's visiting from England, and so we've been showing him around and touring about. Actually, yesterday we went up to Los Olivos, which is very close to Santa Barbara, if you know where that is. I guess the movie Sideways took place there, and Ben's a big fan of the movie. I have yet to see it. I kind of want to watch it this weekend, but we went to a couple wineries, at least one that was in the movie, maybe two, I don't know. I haven't seen it. And then we bought some wine, and I drank some wine, and I ate a lot of food. Oh, and I had a landmark moment, and this is going to be such a humble brag, and something that not everybody can relate to, but I got recognized outside of a VidCon or Playlist Live setting, outside of a convention where there's a bunch of people who watch YouTube, like just real world, got recognized outside of a restaurant, which was really flattering, and I had no idea what to do. I really hope I did the situation justice. And it was really great. It was like I was waiting outside. We had dinner, standing outside the restaurant, and there's this beautiful family walking by with their small boy who is taking his first steps in life. Not like the very first steps where they're like freaking out, but of all the steps he's taken in his life, you could probably count them on a couple hands. He couldn't because he can't count and he can hardly walk, but he's just like trolling along like, la 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 la, life, this is a fun thing, I should keep doing this. And then they're just monitoring him, of course, and the dad turns to me and is like, "You're Mary Doodles." I was like, "Are you talking to me?" And then he promptly ignored me. No, yeah, it was a very, very interesting, very flattering moment of my life. So, yay! Relate to that. That's a weird thing. The only thing it's kind of like when, and this might be another small town thing, having gone off to college and then going back to my hometown, Northfield, which I hear from some other local Northfielders, holla, when I go back to Northfield to visit. Sometimes I'll bump into people who know me, and I'm not talking like from the YouTube stuff or anything. They just know me through either friends or parents, school people's. My dad has a local business, and growing up, I'd always get that people would see my last name or hear who I am. And they're like, "Oh, you're Mary." I'm like, "What? How do you know me?" It's a very interesting thing. I think the worst is when I go to Blue Monday coffee shop, is the Northfield coffee shop. Everybody's in there. When you walk in, everybody turns. It's like an old-timey saloon. Everybody just... Wait, I can do it better. They just turn and they look at you. They're like, "Who are you? Do I know you? Am I obligated to get up and say hi? Do I owe them money? Do they owe me money? Are we on good terms? Is this somebody's sister? Is this somebody's brother? Their parents? How do they relate to me? Is it rude that I haven't gotten up yet? Is it rude that I haven't smiled? Am I smiling too big at a complete stranger now?" At least that's what I think anytime I see somebody walk in. I don't have face blindness, but I definitely have a very short memory for faces and names and the combination of the two. And unless, like, if I either spend a very long time talking with one person at parties, or if I've met them occasionally on like multiple occasions, then it can stick. But if I get thrown into a party situation or meeting where it's just name, and then a week later I have to, or I don't have to, but I see them again, it's going to be so fuzzy and so foggy, which gives me such anxiety. And I know there's ways and tricks to work around that, but I guess that's a thing to focus on in adulthood, remembering people. But oh yeah, some of the worst things is like when I go to Blue Monday, there's like one lone hair that's just unrelenting. I go to Blue Monday, go to the coffee shop occasionally, a few times now, I've bumped into people who are parents of friends or people I knew in high school. And it makes me feel even worse because I feel like you probably come to my plays or my games or maybe helped me with a costume in 3rd grade. I don't know. And I can't remember and associate. I'm looking forward to being part robot and being able to just bypass all of that and have my contact list in my mind and just pulls up right away. Like facial recognition, name, information, and like how I know them. It's like, oh yes, absolutely. Great. Because what's that number? I'm gonna look it up right now because I have the computer here and I've been Googling things today. I've been learning stuff. I've been shocked that there's a time back when I couldn't just pull up this info at any moment. What is that number? How am I going to ask this question? There's a certain number of people that your brain is designed to be able to catalog before it gets overwhelmed, which is leftovers from when you lived in smaller tribal communities. And so you're not really meant to have 500 friends on Facebook or the internets because your brain just can't process all that. So what is that number? I think it's 150 persons. This is a really boring video. How many individuals are we meant to know? That's just are we meant to meet the people we meet? Okay, now I'm going down a wormhole. If you know that number or you know what the name of that number is, please tell me because my Googling skills are not very good today at all. I did want to read some comments from last week's video, last week's Doodle Diary, where I asked for some concepts or some ideas for ways to celebrate reaching 50,000 subscribers, which I assume we're going to do. I don't know about that now. I got some really cool ideas. I think live stream came up a couple times. Let's see. Hey, Mary, I had a thought for your celebration or just a meetup in general. If you do those, you could do a sit and sketch. It's a casual thing that's hosted at some of the cafes in my area. People come and sit and drink coffee and work on their own personal projects. I thought it might be a little more up your alley than a typical meet and greet happy anniversaries. That was from Mary Callahan. And I really love this idea. This is actually something that I have been wanting to do, and I've always brainstormed doing it around VidCon or some convention, which is very flawed because I realize conventions are very busy and everybody's trying to hit as many things as they can. And you might not necessarily want to sit down for an hour and draw or a couple hours. So let's see, coming up is VidCon, June 23rd through the 25th. That's a Thursday through Saturday. Thursday's Industry Day, so I'm probably going to be floating around there. And I'm doing at least one panel, I believe is somewhat confirmed. I don't know what the times or the information is, but I'm at least doing one panel. And I'll get that information out as we find out more. But I'm considering maybe going to Anaheim a day early or staying a day later and maybe doing a sketch meetup. Sunday actually sounds like a really good idea because VidCon goes through Saturday and then I believe Sunday everybody's leaving. So I could stick around a little longer and we could find a cafe or a shop or something in the area and just do an hour or a couple hours of sitting and drawing. I don't know. If anybody's down for that, if anybody's going to Playlist Live or VidCon, confusion. Anybody going to VidCon? Let me know. Does that sound like a thing that could happen that you'd like to do? Not necessarily in cahoots with the 50K celebrate. Just came up with my own. Fixed. There was a hiccup in the microphone. So, where were we? Oh yes, me staring at the screen and ignoring that I'm making a video. Draw Origami suggests that I should make a video of how to draw those cats. Wow, I just pointed to it. Those cats that are blue and green in the background. Please, please, please. I want to draw them, Mary. That would be really cool. That could be a fun tutorial. That could also be a tutorial on my main channel on Mary Doodles, which is getting really close to 400,000. That's the anniversary celebration I should be thinking of. But I think a live stream, let's see, Tasha, I'm so sorry I just pronounced both those A's. Tasha Nicole suggested a live stream where I make a painting or a drawing and answer some questions. That would be really cool. And Magda Muffin was born in Northfield and wants to go to Carleton College, one of our 2 colleges from Northfield. And I like Carleton. I don't know. We get 2 options in a small town. People get opinions. They're like, Carleton students. Or they're like, St. Olaf students. Bleh. If your heart is saying Carleton, go to Carleton. Both those colleges have windmills too, which is very interesting thing. I'd like to think there's a windmill rivalry, like the windmill race, like what the Russians and the Americans were doing during the Cold War, where like one would build a weapon and so somebody else had to build an even bigger weapon and so on and so forth. But these colleges are doing it with windmills and wind-powered energy. That's a good race to have. Let's see. Yeah, I'm leaning toward live streaming. Oh, and Sophie Stelfox asks, have you ever wondered about making your own art book? And that is something that I've been actually talking about, art books of sorts coming up in the future. And I just thought, I got really excited because like, you don't understand what's been going on behind the scenes. I don't mean to be talking about the behind the scenes because it might be boring, but I also feel like there's a lot of other creatives and people who watch my videos. And I've learned a lot just through observing what other people do and are experiencing and going through, what is bothering them or what is a stress or a challenge in their life personally and in the career. And then like what's working and how they deal with it. I feel like I've learned a lot just by watching my friends go through some stuff. So if there's ever like, oh, that's TMI, I don't need to know what goes on behind the scenes or in the editing rooms of your videos. Well, that's fine. I just want to open the door, shed some light. Gonna shed some light on my Snapchat. Daga Yilmaz says, does anyone else wish Mary had a Snapchat? And at least one other person does. So Snap Mary Doodles is my Snapchat. I made a face like I was about to sneeze, but I was really just thinking about what I'm gonna say next. Which is regarding the Snapchat thumbnail thing to subscribe. I think Snap Mary Doodles, if you can search that, or maybe I'll just tweet that out again with the automatic follow thing. I try to use it as often as I can. It's not nearly as often, and it has been a lot of drawing stuff, but I feel like I could utilize it more for stupid little videos. I don't know. So much social media to be using these days. It's a little overwhelming. First and foremost, I should just focus on perhaps the celebration thing. We'll say it now. Let's do a live streaming thingamajigger when I hit the 50,000 mark as far as subscribers go. So I will be announcing what the date is. I'll probably post a video on this channel. It'll just be a quick video like, this is the date. I'll tweet it out. Be sure to follow me on Twitter. Maybe I'll post it on Instagram as well, just for good measure. So it's there and easy to find. And as of now, I think I'll just stream via the YouTube, via the channel, unless somebody's like, no, you have to do it on Twitch or something like that. I've talked to Twitch about doing drawing streams. I don't know if a celebration stream would be in mind. And I will try to draw. Gotta figure out those cameras. Gotta do technical stuff. And I gotta go to the beach. Gotta take my friend to the beach. Life is hard. Wine drinking one day, beach the other. But I hope you had a fantastic week, dear Doodlebugs. I am going to stop looking at my computer. It's been distracting me all day today. Don't know what that's about. And Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones is this Sunday. And Monday will be Game of Vlogs, where I just vomit out my thoughts and opinions on that. If you're into Game of Thrones, if you watch the series, I will be spoiling it so much on Monday. So if you're not caught up, do not watch that video. And I'm sorry if you're like tempted to just watch the thing with my face, but please hold yourself back, have some self-control. I'll still be there. Just catch up because I will be doing the spoiler thing. and death pool. We're going to see who dies, if anybody dies in the next episode, and if anybody guessed it right. So you could check that out then. And until next week, goodbye, dear doodlebugs. Goodbye.